welcome to the Luna Pod, where we talk all things K-pop. I'm Brooke.
And I'm Brickell, and we are back with a concert review. This time we got to see ONEUS in Disney Springs. Make sure you listen all the way through this episode because we have something really exciting that happened during our recent concert that we are so excited to tell you about. This is going to be a fun one because we also got to see ONEUS about a year ago. We're going to be incorporating that concert review into this one as well.
And I just want to put a disclaimer, we will be mentioning Raven during this portion since he was a member at the time of our first concert, and this is a concert review. This is not a K-pop drama channel, so we will not be discussing anything further other than our opinions of him at the time of the concert.
So to start off, I think we need to talk a little bit about how we got into ONEUS in the first place. We've talked about this before, of how this podcast is literally named the Luna Pod after ONEUS's song, Luna.
We came upon this so randomly. We were just on YouTube and we saw the thumbnail and it looked really pretty and we clicked on it and we instantly were obsessed.
Oh yeah. Luna is honestly a cinematic masterpiece. It's so beautiful. The song incorporates such beautiful traditional Korean sounds into it.
And not long after getting into them, we were at a cup sleeve event and this girl that was attending had posted that she was going to the concert and we were like, oh, like let's look into this. And right then and there we bought our tickets. It was very impulsive.
Yeah. We've talked about this experience before, but we were literally in the parking lot of a Golden Corral one night and bought these tickets so impulsively. No regrets at all. So February 22nd of 2022 was our very first K-pop concert.
Yeah.
In general, it was our first concert together.
Yeah.
First of all, before we get into anything, as we have grown together and as our life has been going on, we've noticed that the number 2 repeated is really big in our life. And we noticed that our first K-pop concert was on 2/22 of 22. And we're like, wow, that's so weird. So we've decided that 2 is kind of our number.
Yeah, it's kind of our little lucky number.
Yes, which unofficially, we're thinking we're going to start posting on the 22nd of every month. We're wanting to become a little bit more frequent for you guys. So keep your eye out for days that start with 2. So on 2/22 of 22, we go to our very first concert. Really fun because this is in Orlando at the venue that's right around the street from us.
Yeah, it's probably about 15 minutes at most.
Yeah, at most. This venue is in our backyard, I feel like. So that was really cool. Now, this concert was almost a year ago to date, so my memory is starting to get a little bit blurry with this concert, but there were some things that stood out tremendously and still do. First of all, Hwanwoong's stage presence is incredible.
He has probably like the best facial expressions. Facial expressions when performing.
He's
like, it really draws you in. He's that member where even if he's not your bias, like you were just so drawn to him. He's a performer.
He is. He's meant to be on stage, and we'll get to this when we get to our recent concert as well, but he never disappoints on stage. He's absolutely amazing.
And this was honestly our first test in telling members apart, really studying people and being able to say like, oh, this is so-and-so on stage.
Yeah, because
it can be tricky just watching videos.
Yeah, sometimes the members will look a little bit different in person. Xion, for example, I feel like looks different in person.
He looked really different.
Yeah, so kind of going through the members. Keonhee is so calming. We're gonna have an episode talking about the types of biases, but Keonhee to me is very much a comfort bias, I almost want to call it. Everything about him makes me feel safe.
I agree with that, and he's one that just kind of makes you smile.
Ito, on the other hand, he also has a very strong stage presence, but he's very intense.
Like, in a different way.
Yeah,
I think.
And you can tell how much Two-Moons or the fans absolutely love him because during his rapping parts, Two-Moons were so loud.
Wild.
Oh my gosh, you can't even hear him.
Yeah, his voice is like, yeah.
His tone is very low. It's kind of hard to hear anyway, but with everyone screaming so loud when he's rapping, I swear we couldn't hear a word he said.
Oh, I know. I was still living for it.
Yes.
Honestly, we probably had maybe 2 weeks at the most from the time we bought our tickets to actually going to the concert. So I feel like kind of in a rush to pick a bias if we wanted to. And I was trying so hard. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna solidify this. And I went with Ito, and I was very proud of that decision. But then we went to that concert. Raven wrecked me so bad. That was crazy. And I wasn't expecting it, but I was happy with it. And after that concert, he kind of became my bias. And now he's not a member anymore, but I'm back to Ito.
Honestly, Raven was a joy to see. In person, he was very entertaining.
Really good live.
He did really good. I don't even remember. I think I had decided that Soho was my bias for that concert. But honestly, even at that time, I was having such a hard time deciding. And very quickly after the concert, I decided, no, I'm OT5. I can't choose. And to this day, I still can't really choose a bias. I'm very OT with them. There will be certain times where a certain member will stand out a little bit more than others. But for the most part, I don't think I can confidently say I have a bias in ONEUS. Speaking of Soho, though, that man is stunning in person.
He's really, really pretty.
But we'll get more to him later. Stay tuned. We need to talk about No Diggity. First of all, that music video in general.
The amount of times we've seen that.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. The song is so good. Their facial expressions are so good. The choreo, the colors, everything about it.
That's probably the song where if somebody is kind of wanting to get into a new group and they're like, oh, let me check out ONEUS. I'm so adamant, look at No Diggity.
Yes.
Please look at No Diggity.
You're gonna love it, I promise. And to see it in person was just as amazing as seeing it in the music video. The dance break during No Diggity was so good. Mm-hmm. Even more so than No Diggity, we were ecstatic to see Luna.
Yeah, that was just such a turning point for us.
It was.
And like with our friendship and everything. So I don't know, that was like a meaningful one to see.
It was, and it was amazing. I was in absolute awe during this performance. Mm-hmm. You could hear when their fans would open during the
that
dance.
Like really added to it. I love that.
It was so cool, and their fans were just so big, and they were wearing the traditional hanbok clothing.
They did a fan project during that where they brought in the fans.
Yeah.
Like they passed out fans when we were waiting outside. Everyone held them up during the song. It was really cute. I got some pretty cool pictures from that part.
Yeah. And so now let's flash forward. Let's talk about our 2023 concert that just happened.
Once again, we purchased these tickets in a parking lot.
I'm seeing a theme here.
But this time, instead of being at the venue, like around the corner from us, they were going to be performing at Disney Springs, which was really exciting for us as well. I was like, this is like a perfect place to just be able to hang out throughout the day and wait for the concert. Whereas you're just sitting at home, going to a concert. No, we're at Disney Springs having fun going to a concert.
It's the best possible scenario.
It really
We're
is.
at Disney, we're seeing ONEUS, absolutely everything.
Now, I will say that morning did start off with, lack of a better term, issues. There were a few 2Moons who went to the box office previously and asked what time they'd be let in for the concert, and they were told 9 a.m. And apparently they opened 4 hours before they said they would with zero notice. And so people decided to camp out at Disney Springs, however you do that, and got there way early.
From what I gathered, people were camping out in the parking lot because if you've ever been to Disney Springs, they have security that you go through before you can even enter the shopping part. And normally they do not open that security until 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So they, for some reason, without any notice, started letting people through security at 6 a.m.
It was so confusing. I was so concerned. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to be back in the line, like so far back.
But, you know, we got ready and we headed over. And I know a lot of 2Moons were also really upset because even though they had been waiting since 3 a.m. or so, people booked it over to House of Blues. House of Blues is where they were performing at Disney Springs. And so people were very upset that it was handled the way that it was. So when we eventually got there, we were kind of confused finding out where the line was and how to get there. But
there was like nobody outside.
Yeah, which was really weird because we're like a K-pop concert. There's going to be a line out here all day and everyone's going to be walking around like, what are all these people doing standing around? So we were confused as to why there was nobody to be found. So we walk up, we find some security, which they had people out there all day directing people. I have to really commend House of Blues for this because they were very good at communicating about what was going on. So they explained to us that the lines around here, but we have something called a fast pass for the lines. Really recommend that you get it. Show us that you have a fast pass, get a number, so that way you can walk out of the line, enjoy Disney Springs, come back when it's time, and not lose your place in line.
I've never had venues do this before, and I'm so glad they did. Some people weren't necessarily fans of it, but I loved it. It allowed us to really enjoy our day without having to stand in the sun.
I think it was amazing. I think House of Blues handled this entire situation extremely well. I don't know if they fully expected how intense K-pop fans are, but I think in the end, they handled things very well.
I'm like, to my knowledge, I don't think there's been other K-pop groups that have performed there, so they did great for all of us.
Yes. I really liked the fast pass situation, and it was really cool. So they directed us over to the House of Blues store.
The gift shop.
And the people at House of Blues were so kind. And
they were really nice and helpful.
Yeah. And they immediately explained to us, well, you can either buy the Fast Pass or you can buy merchandise that equals up to the price of a Fast Pass, gets items, and your fast pass. So we were like
duh.
No brainer. We're gonna buy some stuff. And we decided we were gonna shop around a little bit. We also wanted food.
So we ran to Chicken Guy.
Guy Fieri, Chicken Guy. Ooh, if you've never been to Disney Springs, I'm telling you, this is the best dang chicken you'll ever find.
There is one outside of Springs. I'm not sure where it's at, but look it up. Chicken Guy.
This is not sponsored by Guy Fieri, but like...
It's so good.
So good. So we got our chicken, and then we were just walking around. We were shopping. It was great. And And then this is when everything swapped this day. Our energy went through the roof. I'm not even kidding. We were walking somewhere. I don't even know where we were walking.
We were going to Hangar Bar.
We were trying to find Hangar Bar. And we were walking and we were both kind of like looking at our phones, looking at the map. Like we were just kind of figuring out where to go because Disney Springs is kind of big. And I look up and I see the most attractive human being I've ever seen in my life. And now, okay, hold on. We're going to back up. All day as we were shopping around, we were just joking between each other. And we were like, we're going to run into them. We're going to turn the corner and see them at the Lego store. Completely joking about how, we're going to run into them. We're going to see them.
In this store, they'll probably be in here.
Yeah, they're going to be up the stairs. Completely joking. I had solidified in my mind that there's no way we're going to see them because it's a small location. This entire Disney Springs is full of their fans right now. There's no way they're going to be
other
out.
people on top of that.
Right. So we're like, there's no way they're going to be out and walking about. But I look up from my phone and I see the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my life. And I go, I'm just kind of freeze for a second. And then I look behind him and I see it's Connie. And that confirms in my mind, this beautiful man in front of Connie is Xion. And so I am standing absolutely dumbstruck. Me and Xion make direct eye contact. And I think he was kind of looking like, oh, is she going to say something? Is she going to do something? But I panicked and dipped out of the way because I realized right in front of them, like was literally about to run into them.
I almost ran into them.
Yeah. So I like literally almost ran into them after making direct eye contact, dipped out of the way. And then meanwhile,
I was having the realization as well. Like I turned my head, saw Xion so way too close to him, actually almost ran into him. And I was like, wow, that's really funny. Kind of looks like him. Not really thinking about it. And then I look behind him, Connie's there, and I'm like, there ain't no way. And then I look over at you, and your eyes confirmed that we just saw the same thing. Like, oh my gosh.
Dumbstruck giant eyes. I am not even kidding you. It was a panic.
Crazy. And the people around us who were just like enjoying their little Disney vacation were probably like, what in the world are they doing? Like, who were these people?
Well, funny story. So after they passed by, we looked at each other and started busting up laughing. I was having a full-blown panic attack. A good one, not a bad panic attack, but a good panic attack. I sat on the curb, was freaking out, and some guy walked by and looked at us and started laughing. And I'm like, bro, you do not realize what just happened right now.
Our day was just made.
They are incredibly stunning in person. I cannot even explain.
After we saw them, I'm like, wow, they like stick out so much.
They do. We were talking about this of like, even if you don't know who they are, they stand out in a crowd so much. The way their makeup is done, their hair, even their clothing, which is so casual.
And it was just the two of them.
Yeah, just the two of them. But they stand out. You have to know that there's somebody, even if you don't know. And they had some security with them and stuff too. Yeah. But as we were freaking out on the curb, they're over there. And we don't find this out till later, until when they're posting photos on Instagram. But they're over taking little photos at the Lego store. Meanwhile, we're freaking out on the curb, having just almost ran into them. And now we had talked about this before, and we're like, oh, if we do run into them, because again, we were fully joking, was not expecting to actually see them wandering around Disney Springs. We're like, we just want to give them a little hi, like wave, like we don't want to get in the way or anything.
Yeah, we didn't want to bother them whatsoever.
No, not at all. But in this moment, it was so sudden.
It was too quick.
I had enough time to process who they were and then dip out of the way. That was all.
Like if we would have seen them earlier, like that just shows like we were not aware of what was going on around us.
No.
At all. Because if we had looked up earlier, we would have seen them coming. We would have been prepared for a little wave.
Yeah, no, we were focused on trying to find the Hangar Bar.
My brain was like glitching. It shut down. It broke down.
When I tell you I stood there like an idiot, I don't know how to explain to you how I was literally just mouth agape staring until it clicked in my brain of, oh, if I don't move, they're gonna have to move around me right now. It was insane. So anyway, after that fun adventure, after that happened, we decided we were gonna continue shopping around until it was time to line up for the concert. So we decided going into World of Disney, which surprisingly we actually saw Connie again in World of Disney.
Yeah, like he was over by like the plushies.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even see him at first, but there was like a little huddle. So then I noticed him.
Yes, and we did not want to bother them at all, so we just kept our distance and we continued shopping and left. We later found out that they did get mobbed at World of Disney, which is really sad to me because then they can't walk around and enjoy the place.
I know, like they wanted to go out and just have fun, shop around too, but
Xion loves Disney.
Yeah, he is obsessed.
So I'm like, what? Come on, just let them shop, So we did end up seeing Connie again a little bit later, but that was the most incredible experience running into them.
Yeah, that like literally made it.
That was worth every single penny that we spent to be at that concert, and that happened just as we were walking around getting lunch at Disney Springs.
Like just going to Disney Springs, which is free. Saw them for free.
Yeah. It was the most amazing experience. I will never be over that. And honestly, after that experience, I feel like I have an emotional connection to Xion and Keonhee.
We basically consider ourselves...
We're Xion and Keonhee's besties. Yeah. So, you know.
So, sorry, hate to bring it to y'all, but we're besties.
So as we were walking around getting ready to line up for the concert, there was a ton of people over on the west side of Disney Springs. There was K-pop music blaring, people were dancing, everyone was talking. Honestly, I think that K-pop stans had taken over the west side of Disney Springs. They did. It was kind of cute.
And so once it was time for us to go line up, they made it to where our numbers were color-coded based on the time that we bought our Fast Pass. We went down to our line and we got a number order, and then once that all was situated, VIP that got to enter before the Fast Pass.
But now we need to talk about getting into the building, because I have never been into the House of Blues before, but as I had heard about it, even before we went to Disney Springs, I thought it was a weird place to be having a K-pop concert. Because I'm like, Disney Springs is for kind of chill bar almost situation.
And like I knew other performers that have gone there before, and it's nothing like K-pop. It is that very just chill band, like a guy with a guitar. So I was very curious how this would work, if the stage was going to be big enough.
Because we're dancing, we're bopping. I'm like, there's going to be a lot of movement in here. And then we get into the building, and it is this 2-story building made of wood. There's stairs everywhere. There's bars along the outside. And I cannot even tell you, we were crammed in there insanely. It was tight. And so we ended up, because again, we didn't get in before VIP or anything. So we chose to go really far off to the side. We were not in the pit, so we could still see really well because we were up on the stairs, but we were not super close.
We were honestly closer, like our first concert than this time.
We were, but the pit was so crowded and it's not angled at all, so it was just crazy.
Yeah, like that's where I'd say our last venue with them was better because it has a slope.
Yeah.
So even if you're further back, you can still see better. Like this, I stood there, I was like, no, I'm too short for this.
Yeah.
So we went over to the stairs. It was so much better. You'd see all the choreo that was going on. The only times I'd say it was bad was when they were towards the back of the stage or off to the left side, the side of the stage we were on, because then we couldn't see them.
Right, because we were so far over, it was kind of blocked off by the curtains.
And like with all the wood, it really gave a nice echo. Kind of just like an experience you wouldn't get other venues. It was interesting.
It's not the most favorable venue, but it was a very cool experience. I don't necessarily want to do it again. No. I cannot explain to you how crammed we were in there. It was insane. It felt like mob mentality type of squish in there. But at the same time, because it was wood and because we were so tight, our voices boomed in that arena. Really, we were so loud, and because it echoed so badly.
I would say that it was a fault of it, because whenever the boys were speaking and other fans were talking, that just echoed so bad, so I had such a hard time actually hearing what they were saying.
Yeah, which maybe we'll do a video on concert etiquette later on, but when a member is talking, we don't speak, we listen to them.
Please don't.
But it has become a very big problem the past couple of months, even I'd say it's gotten really bad, of people screaming when they're trying to talk. And because this venue was so small, it echoed so bad. That was kind of frustrating. But when they screamed during the time you were supposed to scream, very cool experience.
And so since we're now besties with Xion and Keonhee, we were actually convinced of this at one point, because I swear they knew where we were. Somehow, telepathically, they knew where we were. They would constantly come to our side of the stage in like a little wave. Y'all know.
I know. And listen, we were wearing kind of distinctive colors. I feel like it stood out a little bit. Listen, I'm being fully delusional here.
Let us have this moment.
The amount of times they very specifically came to our side was suspicious. Okay, I'm just saying.
We're best friends.
Very specifically too, because again, being delusional here, it wasn't all the members were coming over to this side. I'm saying Xion and Keonhee very specifically were coming over to our side. Constantly. Hwanwoong came over a lot to our side as well. But those three were coming over. They loved our side. Maybe we were loud. Maybe we were nice. I don't know. To the point, because again, we were very around the corner. They had to lean around the curtain and wave over to us.
Yeah. This was our second concert with them, and it was only a year later, so I feel like we got a good portion of songs that we got during the first one, and a lot of new. So this time they performed Lit again, but this time it was the Kingdom version, which was so cool. Because you like still had that same song, but it was a completely different performance.
And similarly from our previous concert, they also did No Diggity. It will never get old, and it's proof that they are one of the best groups you could possibly stand out there. I'm saying that with a little bit of bias, but it's true. And
something that they did this time that I really enjoyed was they did covers. So they covered Blackpink's Pink Venom. which was amazing.
Listen, no hate here, but it's better than the original version from Blackpink.
It was just like really cool. Like I loved it. Like we just love their group anyway.
We do.
So it was really cool to see.
Yeah, that was amazing. They also
did it so their style.
Yeah, exactly. That's what made it so amazing. They also did Sexy Back by Justin Timberlake.
Not that.
Oh my gosh. They also did a Top Gun medley, which I wasn't expecting to enjoy as much as I did.
I was like, what do you mean we're doing a Top Gun medley? It was fun.
It was fun. And they did this one choreo where they were in the formation of a plane.
Yeah,
it was so cool.
I loved it like so much. And then one of the songs in the medley was I Ain't Worried by One Republic. And like Xion has this little part where he swings his hips. I'm assuming, honestly, I think it's from the movie. I haven't seen the movie, but I know certain parts were trending like that.
Yeah.
I think it's from that. But he did that and he was so shy because everyone was eyes on him. The members were waiting for him to do this move. Like, it was just so,
because after the song, they were like, whoa, Xion, do it again, because we loved it. And so he was very shy. And then because it was so loud in there, we started chanting for all the other members to do it, like their names one by one. So one by one, they were having to go through.
It was really funny. I'm like, thank y'all for amusing us.
For real. Like, first of all, thank y'all. And then also, they couldn't get away from our voices were so loud. They couldn't dismiss the fact that
honestly,
we were chanting their names.
Couldn't.
There was no way. But the covers were incredible. You know, it's one thing to be amazing and perform your own songs, but then to cover other artists and showcase your talents and their talents in a completely different way is just amazing. Really enjoyed that segment. A lot more, again, than I expected. Also, just like the first concert, Ito's rapping, absolutely incredible, and everyone was still screaming so loud it was hard to hear. You could hear a little bit better than our first concert, but they were still so loud. I'm also really impressed with how they decided to disperse the rapping verses among the members. I think they did really well.
Yeah, I think they adapted really well.
I was very, very impressed with them because some of the members were rapping that I didn't even know rap. I also, this is so random, but it very specifically was popping out during their Top Gun medley, I believe. They all were sleeveless, arms out and ablazing, and, Top Guns with guns. So on a little bit of a different note, they were also being so sweet and very concerned with our safety. Because again, I cannot explain to you how crammed in there we were. And first of all, it was very cute at the very beginning. We were being so loud and Hwanung was like, look how many of you there are. Adorable. But throughout the whole concert, they were being very conscious about the safety of it because we were really crammed in there. So they kept stopping and checking on us. They're like, all right, everyone okay?
Multiple times, they're like, if you have an issue, raise your hand.
To kind of put this into perspective, there was someone being pulled over those barriers every 5 to 10 minutes from being so,
Maybe like they were breathing issues just from it being tight.
They were having panic attacks. I don't quite know, but I kid you not, we were over on the side right by the exit, so we could see everyone. Every 10 minutes, there was someone being pulled over and escorted out. And I heard later on that there was people saying other people were pushing and being very aggressive in the pit. So I think it was a lot worse in the pit than where we were. But regardless, they were being so sweet, checking up on us, making sure we were okay, making sure everyone was taking a step back, getting water. There was even this joke at one point. They were being so funny. And there was the above stage. This was like a 2-story thing. And it's kind of like a big cylinder down the middle, like of opening that you could see down, and people had their cups on the edges and they're like, make sure you don't hit your cups off, otherwise we're gonna have rain down the center here. Just so funny. There was also times where they were being so cute, making snakes with their arms and talking about how they were going to be posting something on Weverse later. They were being adorable. They would say how they were impressed with our singing, and they were just overall impressed with Orlando, which I'm so glad. We won't want us to keep coming to Orlando. We love them here.
With Xion being so obsessed with Disney, they kind of had to come back. At least if not for us, for him.
I mean it. Everyone in Orlando, we have a huge K-pop following here in general, but Orlando fans love ONEUS, so we hope to see them again soon. But it was just nice to hear how cute they were. They love Orlando, I think, as much as we love them being here. But anyway, some more cute moments that happened. There was at one point, Hwanung was telling us that our energy was even higher than the beginning of the concert, which was very high. Again, it was very loud in there, and we kept the energy up tremendously. It was very fun. And we also had these surprise banners for a fan project, and they turned the lights on and they were all like, wow,
they were really shocked by how many people were in there. I don't think they were expecting that.
No, it looked, and again with the arrangement of the venue, I think it looked even more intense.
Yeah, I think so too, because people were standing in front of the bar. You couldn't even walk at all.
No, to them, I assume it looked like a literal wall of heads.
It probably did.
Yeah. So I get it. But yeah, it was so cute. They were just so in shock. There was also, at the end, Xion was coming over, giving us lots of waves and this big smile, and Keonhee was telling us that he loves us and gave us a big smile, waves. Hwanwoong came over, was blowing kisses, Ito was waving, Soho was like in shock seeing all of us waving, very, very cute. There was a point where Xion was laying his head on Soho's shoulder, and he was wearing Mickey ears that he had gotten. So it was so adorable, and they were getting in the way and everyone was playing with them, and it was so, so adorable. To wrap things up, honestly, ONEUS was even better the second time.
I'm just so happy we got to see them again. I didn't expect to see them again so soon.
Yeah, and I can't wait for when they come back again and we do VIP.
Because we will next time.
Oh yeah. Honestly, just feel like we have such an emotional attachment to ONEUS, so we're definitely going to be there when they come again. We're so excited. They never disappoint. And also, can't wait to see our besties when they come back around again. Definitely have a special connection to Xion and Keonhee after this experience. Now, before we go, we do want to introduce a new segment that we're going to be adding into our podcast episodes called Song of the Moment. Because I can't choose a song of the week or a song of the month, and it changes all the time. So we're
just in the moment, what we're feeling right now.
In the moment. If you have not heard Monsta X's new album that has been released, get on that right now, because Beautiful Liar by Monsta X is one of the best songs to be released this year.
Yeah, that's gonna be my top song of the year. Come at me next January, that's my answer.
It's so, so good. And every song on this album is absolutely amazing. Crescendo, Daydream, so good. So, so good.
And Lone Ranger.
Oh, so good. But Monsta X, Beautiful Liar, if you haven't heard it, make sure you go check it out. We hope you enjoyed listening. You can check us out on social media. You can find us on TikTok or Twitter at the Lunapod. You can also keep up to date with all of our shenanigans behind the scenes and more up to date on our episode releases and all of the fun stuff. If you head over to Instagram, you can find us at the Luna Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube at the Lunapod, where we show vlogs and more behind the scenes content. Thank you for tuning in for a concert review. We hope to see you soon. Bye.
Bye.